Hi guys, quick interpretation video. I'm just looking at the eyebrow again and I'm thinking instead of a 5, could it be a backwards 2 and a backwards 7? Obviously today's the 27th, so keep an eye out for anything like this happening. You can't see what this is. The eyebrow is designed in the shape of a man lying on his back with hair that kind of resembles Donald Trump, so assuming that this is saying something happens to Donald Trump, um, the common theory being he gets shot. Um, I feel like this figure in the middle may act as like a intersection in the Venn diagram, so it corresponds with this side and with this side. So if this is a backwards 2, over here could be a 1, which could be 12, and then associating these two together, you've got 2 and 7, both backwards. So 27, 12, 27. Keep an eye out for today. Anything happening with Donald Trump? He's over in Germany at the moment. So if there was an international incident, that would be pretty bad and something we hope doesn't happen. Then moving on to the next day, actually, before I move on, another thing probably backing up number 27 at least is translation I did earlier in the year where I took snapshots of George Bush's hands when he's doing his distraction sign language, whatever it is. Tap Morse code could even be possibly in there. I don't think anyone's figured that out yet. But we've got 10, 10, and 7. He's got his 3, the number 3, in front of the burning house, which again, as of a possible translation, could be when the new Congress takes its seat on the 3rd of January. Obviously, if something happens on the 27th, and we're only a week away from the 3rd of January, so it could be linear in that timeline. Something happens to the house around that time. Um, Moving on, we have the Blondie Doomsday video, and I was looking at it again because I was thinking they've got the emphasis on the Sunday because it's in red. None of the others are in red. But down here, they've got 100% on Saturday, December 30th, and none of the others have 100%. So it's kind of like this one has emphasis on it because it's the only one in red. This one has emphasis on it because it's the only one with 100%. And then I just thought Sunday, December 30th, which is coming up in the next 3 days' time. There won't be a Saturday, December 30th until 2023. So if there is a combination with these two being Sunday, December 30th, 100%, that may line up with the translation for the iPet Goat video being released on the 20th of June 2012. 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days later brings us to the 30th of December 2018. And then obviously we've got the 31st following on from that, where there's a possible connection in this video with the fireworks and the skeleton in the background. Just here. Wait 1 second. So that could be giving us a connection to New Year's Day on the 31st. Now that could also be a connection to the Chinese New Year, which won't be until February the 3rd, or no, February the 5th, I think it is. So keep that in mind, especially because it looks like we're on the Korean Peninsula here with the no nuclearized or denuclearization and the peace flag. Looks like Chinese tanks, so it kind of does look like the Korean Peninsula. We've also got a reference to the yin yang, also like a Pac-Man as well, upside down eye here, swallowing the food here. So gives a impression of devouring everything. That may be connected with China coming forward with their, massive army and technologies they've stolen from various different countries. And new technologies they've been testing, hypersonic technology, just like Russia's been testing, but they haven't been getting as much heat as Russia. China's just been able to do what they wanted to do without getting as much international attention. Obviously, they've built up islands in the South China Sea, constantly being contested on that, and they're not putting military bases in the South China Sea for no reason, just to say, "Oh, this is ours." Obviously, it would make a great launching point if they decided to, go to war. So keep an eye on that. That's all December 31st. Again, another connection to December 31st, or at least the number 31, may be in connection with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. We know that the United States has sent the USS Stennis over there, and Iran brought out a large military drill in response. Obviously, they practiced closing off the Straits of Hormuz in retaliation for, being attacked, or if they feel like they're going to be attacked. And you've got the number 31 up here in the clouds, so you could have 31 with Iran and 31 with, North Korea. That could be indicating New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, if the fireworks have any connection with all of that going on. At the same time, it's the same day that Kim Jong-un will address the world in reference to his nuclear ambitions, and I'm just gonna play this video for you guys. Make sure it's not too loud.
US officials believe an upcoming address from the North Korean dictator will indicate how committed the country is to getting rid of its nuclear weapons. Relations between the US and North Korea have been further strained by a US federal judge ruling related to the death of an American in North Korean custody.
A federal judge says Otto Warmbier traveled to North Korea in 2016, a healthy, athletic student with big dreams, smarts, and people skills. When he returned to the United States a year and a half later, he was blind, deaf, and brain dead. He died less than a week later. In her decision to award Warmbier's parents more than $500 million, Chief Judge Beryl A. Howell writes, quote, North Korea more likely than not barbarically tortured Otto to extract a false confession, and then after a proceeding characterized by North Korea as a trial, used Otto's lengthy sentence as leverage against the United States to further North Korea's own foreign policy objectives. Since then, the U.S.-North Korea relationship has changed dramatically, culminating in a June summit in Singapore between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. Yesterday, President Trump tweeted a photo of a meeting in the Oval Office with his North Korea team and says he looks forward to another summit with Kim in the new year.
We are eager to move to the next stage of discussions with our North Korean partners.
Special Representative Steve Biegun says there's no date or location set for a possible second meeting between the two. Biegun himself has had difficulty securing a meeting with his North Korean counterparts. Last month, North Korean officials abruptly canceled a scheduled meeting with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. And earlier this month, a North Korean state publication wrote Pyongyang refuses to dismantle its weapons until the United States eliminates the threat it poses to North Korea. It also pushed the U.S. to ease sanctions. Administration officials have refused.
The world remains united in enforcing and implementing United Nations sanctions until the final fully verified denuclearization of North Korea.
U.S. officials are waiting on Kim Jong-un's annual New Year's Day address for indications of where North Korea stands on this process. As for Otto Warmbier's parents, it's unclear if North Korea will pay any of the $500 million the court awarded them. Despite their high-level conversations over the past year, the U.S. and North Korean governments still have no formal diplomatic relationship.
So,
US officials believe an upcoming address from...
So that's pretty much covering all the situation that's going on with North Korea. But as you heard, they're going to be doing Kim Jong-un is going to be doing his annual address to the nation on the 31st or the 1st of December or January, depending on time zone. Obviously, North Korea is, I think, 9 hours ahead. So it will probably be the first there while it's the 31st over here. And we don't know if they've continued with their, nuclear program, and it's possible they may decide to launch something, especially since the UN Security Council has just, condemned them again for violation of human rights. More sanctions were put on them by the United States, and the judge just awarded Otto Warmbier's parents, £500 million for North Korea to pay. Obviously, I don't think North Korea is going to pay that. That's quite a bit of their GDP, considering how hard they've been hit by sanctions. But all of that kind of serves to derail the process a little bit, or at least for North Korea to turn around and say, okay, we're not denuclearizing until you denuclearize. And pretty much that's what they're saying now. So you're really back to square one. And then I was interested in what's going on over in Israel, of course, with Syria and the United States pullout. And it just struck me that Donald Trump may be using Israel as bait so that he can get to Iran in this situation. I know that's a theory we've looked at before, but obviously by pulling the United States out of Syria, you'd embolden Iran. And obviously Israel has said that they're going to step up efforts against Iran in Syria, recently just launching an attack on a weapons depot, injuring I think 3 or 4 people, and according to the Syrian officials, endangering 2 civilian flights. So if one of their attacks ends up with the civilian casualty that we've been talking about, perhaps a mosque is hit or perhaps something else, a school or something like that, it could then, encourage Iran along with maybe Syria to attack Israel, or at least launch something at Israel, which could get through. There could be civilian casualties in Israel, and then obviously the United States has a reason to come back in, but not just to come back into Syria, to go into Iran as well. And obviously with the USS Stennis there, strike groups there, there's potential for things to escalate quite quickly if something like that were to happen. But first thing looking out for is today, the 27th, connection with Donald Trump. If on his eyebrow that is a backwards 2 and a backwards 7, then it's possible that it's saying 27 rather than what I was thinking in terms of 25. But we'll just wait and see, because that's all we can really do. Hopefully not, because that would obviously mean that these things are unfolding. Stock market would crash pretty quickly. And as I said, international incidents, I don't know how they're dealt with. A president's never been assassinated on foreign soil, or at least attacked on foreign soil. So don't know how that really would unfold in that sense, especially with an ally like Germany. And we know that the NATO alliance is quite tenuous as well. Moving on from that, you've got the 30th, which is obviously 6 years, 6 days, 6 years, 6 months, and 6 days after this iPad Go 2 video was released. Also, a possible connection to this Blondie video, if it's really saying Sunday, December 30th, 100%. And then the 31st, North Korea announcement. Looks like fireworks and stuff going on in the iPad Go 2 video, connecting with 31, may also connect with Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. And then the 3rd of January, the new Congress takes its seat in the House, and we've got the House on fire, which could indicate something happening on the 3rd of January. You guys, that's my analysis. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.